It would appear that Lilly Tino has found herself back in the headlines again, but this time for something completely different than the whole victim mentality that she was doing before and, accusing Kurt Cobain of being trans.
I bet you didn't know that Kurt Cobain was probably trans.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that one. So what is it that she did this time? Well, you're gonna have to stick around and find out. Let's go, baby!
In the chaos, he's a shining light. E.G. lately standing for what's right.
So believe it or not, this is not the first time I've covered Lilly Tino on this channel. I did a video before called Lilly Tino, TikTok's Professional Victim, where we kind of sat down and observed her going to these different restaurants and basically waiting to be misgendered so that she could throw a big hissy fit about how it's a dagger to the heart that they misgendered me and oh my god, how am I going to continue living now? Worthless jerk.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
It's just always like a knife. It always hurts.
Again, just painting the narrative that, your truth and your experience doesn't automatically translate onto the people around you who are trying to live their own lives. And color me shocked when I found out that Lilly Tino herself started having victims that wanted to come forward and start speaking out against her because of one thing or another. Now, as this story goes on, you guys are going to see that there are two sides to both stories. It's Lilly's side, Colleen's side, and then there's the truth somewhere in the middle. So I want you guys to go in here with a fair point of view. Don't come in automatically deciding who you're going to be rooting for, because in the end of the day, these encounters that people have that go back and forth, it's all about being fair and open-minded when you go into these so that you can really see the details for what they are and come to a conclusion at the end that is fair to both parties. Now, the person that is involved in this story with Lilly Tino, her name is Colleen, or she goes by Collie Bean on TikTok. She's the one who we are going to be focusing on in the story, mainly because she is the opposition to Lilly Tino's protagonist. She is the antagonist. Or if you're on Collie B's side, she is the protagonist and Lilly Tino's the antagonist. Again, it's all about your perspective and how you interpret the evidence that we're going to lay out in front of you. So before we do that, though, I want to make sure that you guys understand that I am going to be using the proper pronouns throughout this video, mainly because I like my YouTube channel and I'm not trying to get banned or lose it because some of you feel uncomfortable with me using the proper pronouns. Listen, I honestly do not give a crap how you want to live your life as long as you're not bothering anybody else. I will call you a monkey cat if that's what you prefer to be called, if you're being nice and respectful towards me. And as far as I can see, none of these people have done anything to me that would warrant me wanting to do anything to upset them. So I'm going to use the proper pronouns. If you have a problem with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it. Good, now that that's out of the way, let's hear from Colleen.
I've been debating making this video for weeks now because I was just trying to rack in my head whether I was overreacting or not, but I felt so weird in the moment, and I still feel really weird about it. And if I could save one person who may be a victim in the future, that'd be great with me. A few weeks ago, Lilly Tino tried to coerce me into having sex with her using her status as a trans influencer with my wife sitting right next to me. And then cut to a few weeks ago, Lilly messaged me with the idea of, do you want to go on a work trip with me to Las Vegas? And I tell her immediately no, because I'm on a Canadian work permit. And the moment I leave Canada, it goes null and void. It's not good anymore. But then we hopped on a Discord video chat, and she was still really insistent on wanting me to get to the US ASAP so we could meet together. She really wanted to know the nitty-gritty of why I couldn't currently come to the US. Meanwhile, I'm just wondering, why is she so urgent about this? Then she just pops out with a bait and switch of, oh, I wanted to actually go to Las Vegas to do OF content together. My wife is sitting literally right next to me. Lilly is fully aware of my wife JC and how we're together and how we're monogamous. I never hinted to Lilly that I was interested in anything like that, and I'm wondering why she assumed I would just agree to it immediately if borders weren't an issue, because no, I would not have agreed to that under any circumstances. We didn't have that kind of relationship at all, me and Lilly. So after our call, I'm just wondering, why do I feel so bothered right now? And I think about it over and over and over again. And I asked JC, did Lilly just actually harass me? Is like, I don't know. Like, if I could get you to imagine this, it's like if you had a coworker and they just randomly ask this to you. That's how it feels. It's very inappropriate. And listen, I have an OF too, and I have plenty of friends that have OFs too. But the thing is, collabs usually don't work this way. There's always a mutual respect there. And they both already know before the pitch even happens that both parties are even open to a collab. I never did a collab with another trans influencer, so I don't know why she would even get that idea. But for me, this just feels like Lilly does not know boundaries at all. and sex is just a toy to her.
All right, so a lot to unpack right there. It seems that Colleen and Lilly Tino at some point were friends, and I guess somewhere along the lines, Lilly Tino decided to start an OnlyFans, and she was like, I don't know how often I can sit there and do stuff to myself to get money, so I need to find someone to collab with. Damn, Colleen's looking good. I'd sure like to get me some of that. Let me reach out to Colleen and try and see if she's interested in reciprocating that idea as well. Because after all, we're trying to make some money, and some people have some really strange kinks. Strange to me, maybe not strange to you or strange to anybody who's into that, but it's just strange to me because it's not my thing, you know, that's all. I, E.G., am not here to kink shame anybody. If you're into girls with appendages, then you're into girls with appendages. What can I say about that? That's all I have to say about that. Now, Colleen's going to go on to say that she was harassed by Lilly Tino. Now, to put into context, to fulfill that harassment charge, you would have to continuously, again and again, try to make moves on someone who clearly does not want them. So, in order to convict Lilly Tino of what she's being accused of, we would have to see proof that Lilly just never stopped when Colleen said no. So just keep that in mind, all right? That is by definition harassment, a continual effort at trying to convince someone to do something they do not want to do. So that is a big player in here, is how often did Lilly Tino try to hit up Colleen? I know that Colleen added, imagine if a coworker did this to you, but in most offices, you can go up and ask another employee to go on a date with you. The problem starts though when you continually keep asking when the person has already said no. That's when you find yourself in a whole bunch of trouble. Simply shooting your shot once is not exactly harassment, is all I'm trying to convey to you. I go into these things trying to be 100% fair, all right? I don't want to just go into this blood red that I hate Lilly Tino and I'm going to agree with anything Colleen says, because that leaves you blind. That leaves you having the inability to make up your own mind about things. Now, before we speculate any more on what constitutes harassment and what doesn't and what Lilly Tino is guilty of, Lilly Tino herself responded to this in her own words. Let's hear what she had to say.
I'd like to start with some context about Colleen and I's relationship before all this happened. So last April, I was going through a really tough time, something that actually I learned Colleen had also gone through before. She reached out, was really supportive, really nice, and honestly, her support was one of the reasons that I was able to pick myself back up and start creating again. From there, Colleen and her partner were super involved in our community. It was great to have them. Over time, we became friends, and like any friend, I would always post something nice in her comment section. I didn't have a crush on her. I was just a friend from the fan section saying, go Colleen. Now, independent of Colleen, I recently decided to start making a new kind of content. One of the things that I thought would be helpful to kickstart that effort would be to collaborate with people in the same space. Colleen is in that space. For the record, collaborations are super common among any kind of social media creator, be it this kind of content or other kinds of content. I'd encourage you to think about all the times you've seen two content creators come together to partner on a video. It happens all the time. And since I've been wanting to go to Vegas a lot on my own, I figured it would be cool, two birds with one stone, get a couple friends, go down, do fun stuff, and also make it a little more worth our while, do some collaboration on content. Colleen seemed like a good person to ask because she already does this kind of content for a living, so I didn't think it was an out of left field ask to say, hey, this thing that you do for work, I'm starting to do it too. What if we partnered up for a thing? Not to mention, I thought her content was awesome and I really admired her for it, and I would have loved a chance to collaborate with her.
Oh, I bet you would love a chance to collaborate with her, you dirty dog.
Colleen contradicts herself a couple of times over the course of her videos. In the first one, she talks about how we were discussing Las Vegas in the chat before I brought it up to her on the video call.
Okay, so obviously context is important, so we need to read these to make sure that we have the full context of the situation. Lilly Tino says, hey, random question. It is pretty easy for you to get JC to visit the US. I asked because I've been meaning to plan a fun trip that could also double as work. Colleen Bean replied, it'll be super easy, but only in about a year when I'm permanent resident of Canada. Then I can go back and forth as I please. Lilly Tino responds, gotcha, but not currently. Colleen Bean, girls trip. Lilly Tino, exactly. Then the conversation continues. Colleen Bean, what was your idea? Lilly Tino, quick call would be easier. Colleen Bean, oh sure. Let me get on my computer.
That's not true. And in her second video, she contradicts it by saying that I brought it up to her for the first time on our video call. That's true. On that video call, I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you, me, and your partner, and by the way, her partner was there for this. It was all three of us. I said, wouldn't it be cool if me, you, and your partner had a fun trip to Las Vegas? We'll do the Sphere. I want to go to a Mega Mart, maybe see a couple shows. It'll be super fun. And while we're there, it would be cool for us to film some content because ultimately I'm starting to make more content. I like your content. It would be cool for us to partner. Colleen immediately said, actually, I'm monogamous. Now, to be clear, as soon as she said no, I said, okay, no problem. And we moved on. Colleen in her videos has made it out to be like I dragged it on, like I was pushing her and pulling her and trying to get her to do this collaboration, when in reality, all I said was, okay, no problem, totally fine. At that very moment, my internal monologue was, okay, Colleen doesn't want to do this. Who else would want to do this? And I moved on from the situation entirely. I didn't know that this was something that bothered Colleen or her partner. They did not tell me that it bothered them until weeks later when I received a DM from her partner, which Colleen also mentioned in her video.
So as I said before, context is very important. So JC said, "Hey Lily, I'm not sure if you noticed, but Colleen has decided to stay out of your live streams for a bit, and we thought that you should know why. She didn't feel comfortable reaching out to you directly, so I offered to do it for her. Colleen felt uncomfortable with how you brought up the idea of going on a work trip, only to then mention making OF content at the end. Not only are we in a monogamous relationship, but you also asked her in front of me, which we both felt was very inappropriate. I totally understand where she is coming from, and I support her feelings 100%, as I once found myself in a very similar situation and know how unpleasant it can be, especially since Colleen respects you as a content creator and has never indicated that she was open to OnlyFans collaborations." So Lilly Tino responds, "Oh damn, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that that was something that would impact y'all in that way. I feel stupid for not thinking it through, that this was a possible outcome. The request was very much a business proposal to grow our mutual followings and generate revenue together, and I wanted to make it in front of both of you, so that I didn't feel like there was a circumventing or secretive ask. I'm deeply sorry for causing discomfort, and I absolutely respect both of you for taking a step back. If Colleen's open to it, I'd very much like to apologize to her as well. Or if she's reading this, please let her know. I'm so sorry, and I should have thought it through more than I did. It was just something that popped into my head, and I messaged y'all immediately because I thought it would be fun. But I didn't take the time to think, and I projected my own boundary onto your relationship. I'm sorry."
I immediately apologized over Discord message. I never got a response, and the next day they posted the video. Now, Colleen talked a lot about our conversation on her citizenship. Colleen is an American citizen who lives in Canada currently and is working towards her Canadian citizenship. She told me that she can't leave Canada right now because that would interfere with her Canadian citizenship. I, as her friend, was just curious why that was. It sounds like Colleen interpreted that as me trying to push and pull her towards this content, when in reality, I wasn't even thinking about Las Vegas anymore. I wish I could show you the video call to prove what I'm saying, but sadly, Discord doesn't store any video calls on their end. To recap, I never had a crush on Colleen. I saw her as a friend. I asked her if she and her partner wanted to come to Vegas. She said no. I said okay and moved on. This whole situation is something out of nothing, and the saddest thing is that people will believe what she's saying just because they don't like me and they want it to be true. I would have much rather dealt with this personally, one-on-one, but she didn't allow for that to happen. So here I am, speaking my piece. Thank you.
Now, call me crazy, and this may be an incredibly unpopular opinion. However, I can see what Lilly Tino is saying here. It's clear to me that, according to Lilly Tino, she only requested to do this OnlyFans collaboration one time. And that doesn't constitute harassment, in my opinion. So, I mean, unless Colleen comes back with more concrete evidence or maybe another witness, which I think she does, then I don't really think we have anything to hold Lilly Tino accused of. Now, I know that a lot of people really dislike Lilly Tino, and to be honest with you, I am not a big fan of her either. I think that a lot of things that she does is very toxic and sends really poor messages, especially when you have already so much stigma against the LGBTQ RAIZ24 X-Ray 0 group of people who are being constantly attacked. Now, again, I want to be honest, it's not my thing. I am a straight white guy. I'm very proud of the fact that I'm a straight white guy. I'm not guilty. I'm just a really nice guy, I think. So, and I want to be very fair when I make these judgments. I don't think that right now, according to Lilly Tino, that she was too aggressive in her approach, but my mind could change. Let's see what happens. There's also the possibility that Colleen could be doing this to drive traffic towards her TikTok. All right, that's something that we know happens on the internet all the time. People will use drama to plug their channels, and she might have saw this as an opportunity to expose Lilly Tino and get herself a whole shitload of views and money while she does it. I mean, I'm not saying that's the case, but we would be stupid not to acknowledge the possibility that that could be something that is in play here. So now let's take a look at Colleen's response to Lilly Tino's response. We are 50 shades of trans involved in this drama. Let's find out, baby. We're elbow deep up in this biatch.
Last week, Lilly Tino made a video completely denying her sexually harassing me, and if you're wondering why it took me so long to even respond to that, I'll get to that in a second, but here's quickly why her response was just laughably bad. Lilly failed to mention that she led me into a Discord call under false pretenses when her real motives were to film porn with me. If she were upfront, I would have said no immediately. She didn't mention that I said no or I can't 3 different times, and even after that, even after I said no to doing porn, she still sent me a link to the porn studio and said it would be mutually beneficial. The entire video, she didn't even mention OF or even spicy content once. Instead, she mentioned it as a different kind of content, and was very very nonchalant about saying it was normal for content creators to collab, which is true for something like TikTok, but is much more sensitive when we're talking about making literal porn. And this one shocked me. She edited the word OF out of her screenshot, the one that I actually posted to my video itself uncensored.
I received a DM from her partner, which Colleen also mentioned in her video.
And she'll probably say it's for TikTok terms of service, but here, let me just put that message on the screen and watch nothing happen to this video. Lilly was trying to sanitize the entire situation to make herself seem innocent. Like, I got many comments after they come back to my video being like, oh, I didn't even know that Lilly was even talking about OF until I saw your video. And I've been frequently asked why I even went public in the first place, because Lilly had such a well-written response, right? But the reason I even went public was because I knew that immediately after I went public, Lilly would publicly act like this.
Right, and also I had no idea they were monogamous. Most trans people I know are poly. So let's say, okay, she's monogamous, and she could have just said no.
And finally, if you're wondering why I haven't responded till now, it's because the day I was going to respond last week, I was contacted by another victim named Cassie, who was tied up in this entire Vegas situation too. Her situation's very similar to mine, except for her, Lilly stalked, groomed, and refused to take no for an answer countless times, to the point where on Lilly's live streams, I was tricked because Lilly was publicly saying that she already had someone to go to Vegas with her after I said no, referencing Cassie. Turns out Cassie never said yes.
So I've been trying to say no, and she keeps pushing for it.
It was strange though, because on her TikTok lives, it sounded like you were a shoo-in to go.
Yeah, no.
One of the primary reasons that Cassie said no was because of medical reasons. Lilly would try to be like, oh, why don't you stop this medication? Why don't you stop that medication? Lilly, someone should not have to stop their medication to have sex with you. That's ridiculous and predatory.
She basically didn't believe that I was telling her that it is quite severe, to the point where I don't like travel.
Lilly had subscribed to her OF for months prior, told people in the Discord, including me, about Cassie herself. And when Cassie was being called out by Chris Tyson on Twitter for being too trans, which I think is freaking ridiculous, Lilly swooped in all friendly, saying, come to our Discord server, we're friendly here, we'll understand you. And then not too long after, asked her to go to Vegas to do porn with her. She's been aware of you and has been following you on OF for quite a while.
That's crazy enough. She knew who I was before that day.
She talked about it. Like, she talked about it multiple times.
Oh.
On a Discord, she talked about it, yeah.
What? Oh, no, that changes everything. Why hasn't she told me that? And I even told her how this happens to me all the time. Like, people, I'll meet like a set of friends, right? And then the second one of them gets me alone, they go, hey, so, I actually watch your content, and then I'm like, oh, so you're trying to fuck me. and it's so often, and I'm like, oh, this is the exact same. But this is the first time it's happened to me with someone like Lilly.
I honestly hate to think what could have happened to either one of us if we did agree to go to Las Vegas with Lilly. And just because me and Cassie are trans sex workers, it does not mean we do not deserve respect or boundaries. And Lilly decided to break all of those for both of us because she wanted to have sex with us.
Again, so much to unpack here. I will say, I do find it incredibly odd that Lilly Tino censor out the OnlyFans aspect of her letter when she was presenting it to people, almost like she was ashamed of it, which would suggest guilt on her part. However, like, I do understand that, you know, as an OnlyFans creator, asking other OnlyFans creators to collab would be pretty weird. It's almost like there's a whole influencer sex ring that's out there where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get Jake Paul to go sleep with Moist Critical, you know, but in a OnlyFans way. You know what I mean? Like, Jack Doherty's gonna sleep with this crazy influencer. Go watch it live at 9. I can imagine that trying to come up with those OnlyFans collaborations would be incredibly strange to approach people and ask them about, because it's not like I'm asking another commentator to come and hop on my video and give their impression about a strange topic that we're covering. This is like really intimate, private moments that you're asking someone to come share with you. It's like Tinder, but for influencers, you know, except you film the whole damn thing. So I can understand why it would be odd to approach it and why Colleen Bean will feel a little weird about the whole situation too, because if you take it the wrong way, it's easy to imagine, you know, Lilly Tino's being a bit predatory here. Like, I don't think that Lilly Tino went into this with only business stuff in mind. I think she wanted to actually, you know, get down, you know. It would be stupid of me not to acknowledge that that's a possibility here. And if that's the case, you know, I'm sure that those OnlyFans influencers enjoy sleeping with each other, or else they wouldn't do it. I mean, yes, it's lucrative and stuff, but a part of them has to enjoy, you know, that intimate part of this whole business. So if I'm really gonna break it down and look at it fairly, there are 3 possible scenarios that took place here. Either scenario number 1, Colleen Bean was right and Lilly Tino was too aggressive, made her feel uncomfortable after saying no, and Lilly Tino was just uber aggressive in trying to sleep with Colleen Bean because she was attracted to her and used it under the guise of making money and having an opportunity to build clout together. Scenario B is that Lilly Tino genuinely thought this was a business opportunity and then wanted to collab with Collie Bean because she thought it'd be an opportunity to make money and to get her OnlyFans up and running. Or there's scenario C, where both people are overly playing down their roles in this situation and the truth is somewhere in the middle. And then of course there's always option 4, where everybody's just being petty little bitches here and they had a falling out and they never really liked each other in the first place. Or Lilly Tino liked Collie Bean and Collie Bean didn't really actually like Lilly Tino and was just waiting for her to slip up enough that she could use her to progress her channel and, you know, create a big drama surrounding it. It wouldn't be the first time that a person on the internet decided to use someone's words against them to help promote their own channel. And I find it odd that Collie Bean added in her response that she does have an OnlyFans, almost like dropping a hint, hey, if you guys want to subscribe to my OnlyFans, go check it out. I know 2.4 million of you are here to watch my drama with Lilly Tino. Brilliant marketing. Either way, though, this is good for both of them because they're both getting their name out there. Maybe less good for Lilly Tino because she's getting painted like a sadistic predator. But again, I haven't seen anything that's proof enough that I've seen that would make me think that Lilly Tino is like some uber aggressive, overly sexual person. Do I think that Lilly Tino genuinely wanted to sleep with Collie Bean? Yeah. And she used the OnlyFans business opportunity as a way to do it? Yes. I 110% believe that played a role in it, but I don't think that played the only role in it. I also would have preferred to see Collie Bean, you know, show an example of her telling Lilly Tino no before she decided to just get running with this wild accusation that, you know, Lilly Tino was like this crazed sexual predator. We didn't see a single example of Collie Bean saying no and then Lilly Tino ignoring that warning and then continuing further. I don't believe that evidence existed here. So again, I say if you're going to treat this situation fairly and make up your own mind, please look at the evidence and don't let preconceived notions of whether or not you like these people be an example of what you should think during this whole back and forth, okay? Again, I want to be very clear. I am no fan of Lilly Tino. I just haven't seen any evidence so far that would suggest that Collie Bean let Lilly Tino know she was uncomfortable and then Lilly Tino continued on after that. So these are big deals mainly because for victims that this stuff actually happens to, where someone will try to hit on them and then they say no and then the person gets even more aggressive, like we cannot just use that as a beacon to shame someone else. These are real situations that happen every single day. So if you're going to accuse someone of making you uncomfortable and then they apologize and then you just try to destroy their credibility anyway, I mean, just keep that in consideration. The only people that you are hurting when you do that is real victims. Again, the only reason I say this is because I don't feel like Collie Bean is not valid in her feelings of feeling uncomfortable. I just feel like going and making a video after Lilly Tino apologized, not providing any proof of Colleen saying, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, and then Lilly Tino blatantly trying to bring up the OnlyFans thing again. These are things that you have to take into consideration if you want to be fair. I mean, if you want to be unfair and just cast aside whoever you hate most, by all means do it. It's the internet. Who gives a fuck? But if we're going to go into this with open minds and fair and looking at the evidence for what it is, you cannot ignore that aspect. But at the end of the day, though, it's up to you guys. What do you guys think? I've shared what I have noticed throughout this whole thing, but what are you guys thinking? Let me know down in the comments. I cannot wait to read what you guys think about this whole entire situation. How crazy is it? Trans warfare. One trans creator versus another trans creator in a no-holds bar. Who will survive and take down Dylan Mulvaney, who's the final boss of all trans creators? Like, that's it seems like what's going on here. But anyway, you know, this is all just silly fun. Thought it was an interesting drama to talk about, so I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention and get your feedback on this whole entire thing. Now, again, Lilly Tino is no stranger to drama, but if you really want to see the type of person that Lilly Tino can be, I suggest checking this video out right here.